Hey everyone, how's it going? AZREN here. Hope you guys are doing well. In this video, I want to talk about vocabulary, and more specifically, I want to talk about some different strategies to actually remember or memorize a lot of the new vocabulary that you're coming across when you're learning or studying a different language. Now, the number one thing you need to do is you need to have a default strategy. In other words, you need to find a strategy that you always use when you're trying to remember new words. So for example, a good way to find a default strategy is to think back to what's worked for you in other subjects in school. So for example, think back and be like, how did I memorize history facts? Did I use flashcards? Did I write stuff down over and over? Did I read it over and over? What did I do to help me memorize history facts or math formulas or physics formulas or whatever? How did you memorize stuff in other elements and other aspects of your life? Right? Take that strategy, bring it into your language studies. And that will probably work for about, depending on the person, anywhere between 70 to 90% of all the new words that you learn. Now, there's a problem, right? 70 to 90% is a lot, but that still leaves 10 to 30% of words that you're just really struggling with, right? I'm sure if you guys have learned another language or studied another language, I'm sure you have come across moments, or there's been times where there's words you just cannot remember. No matter how hard you try, the word just doesn't seem to stick into your brain. And this is the major problem that language learners face. And when you encounter this, in my experience, what has tended to work is to continue trying to learn the word using your default strategy, like flashcards or whatever. But you need to supplement that with another strategy, that, most important part, that incorporates a different sense. So for example, let me break this down for you. For example, here we have on my desk flashcards that I use with some of my students, right? So we have Spanish verbs, travel Spanish verbs, or Spanish vocab, home and Spanish and office, all this stuff, right? Flashcards is a very visual strategy. You're using your eyes to try and learn a different word, right? Why not continue using your flashcards, but try using an auditory strategy as well? So for instance, why not try and make a video, right, and talk, make a story on video that forces you to use the words that you're struggling with. Because now that's going to incorporate your ears. It's actually going to incorporate your mouth as well, because you're talking it out, and you're doing your flashcards as well, so you've got your visual being incorporated, right? Maybe you can even act it out. Now that I'm talking this out, I'm getting more ideas. You can even act it out. And maybe you're struggling with the word to eat in Spanish, right? Maybe you're you take an apple and go hump, 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 eat your apple, and talk to yourself, be like, estoy comiendo una manzana, I'm eating an apple, I'm eating. Because now it's incorporating kinesthetic memory. And so what happens is that if you're incorporating different senses, right, strategies using different senses with whatever your default strategy is, that in most cases is going to really help you internalize whatever words that you're struggling with remembering. Now, I want to end this video off on another note. One of the major things that people do wrong when it comes to learning vocabulary is they keep it way too insular. What I mean by that is they're way too individual about it. They're doing all of the strategies from the comfort of their own home, maybe from their desk, maybe from their kitchen table, maybe from their bedroom. They're doing their studying all on their own, and they're trying to remember the word for the most part on their own. But the problem is that when you're learning a language, when you're actually speaking the language and using the language, you're never alone. You're with other people. And so what you have to do to really, really, really deeply ingrain or to deeply memorize a different word is you have to be able to actually practice using that word with other people in a actual real life scenario. So when you're hanging out with or maybe you're talking to an exchange partner, have a goal in mind to be I'm going to use the word to eat 3 times. How? I have no idea, because you have no idea where conversation goes. But force yourself to use it to actually make yourself remember it in a real life scenario. That is the most important part. That is actually a missing piece that the majority of people that are studying a language, they don't incorporate that into their strategy for memorizing new vocabulary. And the reality is that is the most important part. That's 60% of the equation. 40% is all the strategies we talked about, all the stuff you do from the comfort of your own home, from your office, from your desk, from whatever, right? That's just to get it in your brain. But then you have to use some strategies. You have to practice taking it from your brain and taking it out of your mouth and using the word. Or actually being able to write it, being able to, etc. Being able to use it in a practical context. So anyway, hope you guys liked that video, and I will see you guys later. Bye! Why did I do that?